Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps and I'm joined now with Kid Galahad at the Galapad. How are you? Good morning or good afternoon?
It's good afternoon. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. I'm enjoying this nice English cup of tea that you've made me.
Special.
Nice hospitality over here.
Out of 10, how good's that tea?
I have to say it's a 10.
Good.
Yesterday was probably about a 6. Did you practice? Did you make a few more throughout the day?
Yesterday I just made you the standard tea, but today I've made you the special Galahad special tea. Very special, that tea.
Oh yeah, well it's as they say, when you cook and you cook with love, it comes out that much better. So I appreciate it.
No problem. No.
Well, we're here in Sheffield. Big fight for you coming up. Big opportunity. We got you back on the March 3rd card with Kell Brook. Your mate.
Yeah.
How excited are you to be back at it?
I'm good. I'm over the moon, fighting back in my own town, Sheffield, where, I can't wait. Honestly, I'm over the moon. It's going to be a good night. I'm fighting a kid called Ivan Berry. Mm-hmm. He's boxed Jonathan Gonzalez, who knocked out Abnares in a round. Went 12 rounds with him. He's been in the ring with Nicholas Walters. Mm-hmm. Nicholas Walters stopped him in, I think, about 8 or 9 rounds. So it's going to be a good night.
Do you think it's going to go the distance?
Listen, I'm just going to go in there and win. If the knockout comes, the knockout comes. But I'm going to go in there, like Naz says, I'm going to go in there to brook him up.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you ever find it more nerve-wracking when you're fighting at home, or do you find that it puts you at ease because you know that you have your family and friends around?
Do you know what? It doesn't actually matter to me, because when you're in the ring, you're in the ring. You're that focused, and there could be 10,000 people there, or a million people there, or one person there. When you know it has to count, and you can't afford to make a mistake, and you've got to win, you're that focused. Everything else is just, it's a tunnel vision. You can't. I don't know. I've never felt that the crowd behind me. It's a tunnel vision. Mm-hmm. So you're that focused. You can't see.
Do you not hear anything when you're out there?
No, you don't. You don't really hear. But
that.
you know what? You only hear like 1 or 2 voices you might recognize. So you might listen to. So the 2 voices I always hear is always either John Ingle or Dominic Ingle. Yeah. But other than that, I can't really I don't really hear. Or sometimes I might hear Kell. Mm-hmm. But it just depends, So when you're that focused, you can't. It's hard to explain, because things slow down. You can't. You're that focused. When it slows down that much, it's like you don't really hear nothing. You can't really see nothing. All you're focusing is about what you gotta do, and you gotta execute it. Yeah.
Here at the Galapad, you got yourself a couple of really cool roommates.
Yeah.
You got Kell Brook. You got Billy Joe Saunders. I know that we kind of touched on this yesterday, but how much fun? How fun is it to have these guys around? It's because boxing's so serious, so you kind of have to have a balance of some fun, and of course, the serious business, which is boxing.
There's a time and place for things, and when we're in training in the gym, there's no fun and games. You've got to put your head down, get the job done. When you're back in the house, we come back, we rest up. But say it's a Saturday, we've got a bit of free time off. We might come down here, have a little laugh. Greg comes, Greg Marriott, the nutrition, he might come and make us laugh. He's a character. Yeah. We need to get an interview with him. And it just depends, but there's never a dull moment in this house, honestly. You should put cameras in here.
There should be a reality show.
Yeah, there should be a reality show in here. I'm telling you, if they had cameras in here, it'd be the number one. It'd be like the Kardashian show.
What would you call it?
The Galapad. The Galapad. That's what I have to call it.
You guys are just all different types of personalities. Sometimes when you throw too many personalities in, it could clash. Have you guys ever had any arguments, or you guys are just have a really strong brotherhood and everyone just sort of gets along? No, because the thing is, we're all in here to do a job, and we're here to train. And push each other. Yeah, and we're here to push each other. So the egos, to be honest with you, Billy hasn't really got an ego, and Kell hasn't really got an ego. I haven't really got an ego.
it depends in it. Like if you had a Chris Eubank Jr. in here, then there probably would be some, you know, things kicking off. But with them two, they're just easy going. You know, they don't want to be centre of attention all the time. So it's we all, you know, what's the word for it? We all just like
Vibe mesh.
yeah. It's like it's just chilled. Honestly, it's just chilled. And plus, you got to remember when you're training so hard, you're tired, and most of the time we'll just come in, we'll talk for a bit, go down, have a rest, sleep. Look, yesterday you were supposed to do an interview yesterday, but I think it was like 7 or 8 o'clock at night. I went upstairs and fell asleep.
Yeah.
And that's what it is when you're training hard and you're cutting back on your weight, and you know you're not eating much. You want to rest, and you need to. Sometimes you need to know when to give that other person a bit of space.
Well, I saw that you were did some fun sparring with Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
How was that? You held your own, Barry.
Tried to hold my own. I'll tell you something. For a big guy, I was so surprised with his coordination.
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, he moves like a middleweight, and his thought process for a heavyweight as well. He does all these like little tricks and little moves, and I've sparred with loads of heavyweights. I've never been in one with that fast, and I don't think I've ever been with anyone that intelligent in terms of, you know, so crafty. And he's very hard to hit clean, very hard.
Well, I would also imagine too. I mean, there's the height difference. Hard to hit.
Listen, he hit me with the jab, and I thought, what was that?
Made you think twice, huh?
I think twice. I thought, what was that? It was like a sledgehammer.
Wow.
I didn't really put much into it. It was only like a little flick. I thought, oh yeah.
Just knocks you around.
Yeah, 20 odd stone.
Jesus. Well, he looks good. I saw him ringside at the Groves Eubank fight.
Yeah.
And he looks really trimmed together. You can see how focused he is. Do you have any sort of inside knowledge as to what's his next step? I know you guys are good friends.
The thing is, I think Greg Marritt's been doing his nutrition, and he's been on a keto diet and the keto diet is very hard. All you're eating is fat and protein, and he's been on it for a while now. And I think what they said he's come from 27 down to 22, which is good. You know, I think he's still got a bit left to go down. I think he should be around 20 mark personally. Yeah. But they haven't said nothing. You know, I know he's thinking about fighting April. I don't know who it's going to be. It's going to be a hard job to match him up.
Yeah.
You know, because who wants to get in there with someone like him? He can do everything. He can box. He can punch.
Do you think it's smart though that he wants to go right in and straight away and face AJ?
It's a tricky one, you know. I think he should have a couple, and then, you know, see where he's at. He needs to, just because, you know, when you've been at the ring for so long, you can forget things and
ring rust. Naturally.
Yeah, ring rust to a certain extent. You know, it depends. I think because I think he spent a lot of time out the gym as well, and that's what affects you the most. If you're in the gym and you're always training and you're sparring, I think the ring rust can't really, it don't really affect you as much. But I think because he's been out the whole gym thing for so long, you know, he needs to go in there, see where his bearings are, see everything, be under the spotlights, because it's a super fight. Him and AJ, he's going to sell out Cardiff, Wembley, whatever. It's going to be at least, you know, 100,000 people there, and it's going to be, you know, his biggest fight.
Okay, so let's go down just a list real quick. Right off the top of your head, tell me who you think wins, okay? So we now obviously have the Wilder versus Ortiz.
Yeah. Ortiz.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I just think, you know, Wilder's not looked that good in his last couple of fights, but it's a hard fight, isn't it? I think so, but, you know, Wilder, sometimes I thought he would get beaten in certain fights. I think when he boxed Stavern, I thought, you know, Stavern will give him a good fight, but he stepped up his game. And some fights when, you know, Wilder, he's boxed average people and looked terrible. But it depends, you know, if he takes this guy, this Cuban, lightly, then I think he's going to get beat, because he's a southpaw, he's tricky, he's been schooled well, he's been around the block, and you know, he comes from a good pedigree.
Joshua versus Parker.
Joshua.
And why?
I just think Joshua's development and everything lately, you know, in his last couple of fights, people not, you know, in his last fight saying, oh, this and that, but he changed opponent. I think it was a week or two before the fight, and that kid he boxed was tough as nails. He stuck to the game plan, kept him long, kept on, you know, at range, and he got the job done.
Yeah.
And, you know, I just think, I don't think Parker's been in with anyone like him. I think Parker might take him 12 rounds, but I don't think Parker will beat him. No way.
So you think at least Parker has what it takes to take away that, you know, knockout streak he has?
Yeah. I think he might go 12 rounds, but I don't think he might not even. He might win 1 or 2 rounds, but I think AJ will definitely, you know, definitely win.
What did you think of Chris Eubank's performance against George Groves?
I didn't actually stay up to watch the fight. I watched it the next day. And I think a lot of people are harsh, you know, saying this and that. But the thing is, Chris Eubank Jr., if someone, you know, does something in boxing, or, you know, he's the first person there to criticise him. And now I think everybody he's said something bad about have all come back to him to say stuff about him. But, you know, I think Naz was a bit harsh. By the way, that was the best commentary I've ever seen in boxing history. I think Sky Sports, HBO, we need to sign Nazim Hamed and put him on there, because that commentary was unbelievable. And it was a bit harsh, you know, telling him to retire and this and that. But
Do you agree with? So I take it you don't agree with him.
I think I know Naz personally, and like, he can be very harsh. You know, Naz, he says it how it is sometimes.
But do you agree with, or you disagree with the fact that Chris should retire?
No, I don't think he should retire. I think he just needs to pick his fights a bit better. You know, you would have thought he would have learned something off you know, when he lost to Saunders. You know, he wasted the first 4 or 5 rounds, and then he got easily outboxed. He never threw a jab. And in this fight, he did the same thing again. You know, and Groves is beatable. I personally thought he'd beat Groves, you know. And I don't know, to me, it seemed like he froze a bit. I don't know, he could, you know. I think Groves might have hit him and thought that was a heavy shot. To me, it seemed like he froze a bit.
I think a lot of people think that he should just stick to middleweight, because he was quite smaller than George, and in terms of like the super middleweights, there are a lot larger than Chris. Do you think that he should stay at middleweight?
Listen, when Mayweather moved up the rankings, or Pacquiao, they never come, you know, or whoever. If you're moving up and fighting bigger and stronger guys, Chocolito, look what happened to him. He tried doing the exact same things what he was doing when he was at the lighter weights. When he moved up to a heavier weight, he tried doing the same things to the bigger guys and ended up getting knocked out.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, these fighters need to look at someone like Mayweather or Pacquiao, and, you know, they need to adapt and change. And just, you can't go in there and, you know, if someone's bigger and stronger with you have to change your tactics. You have to go back to the drawing board and start changing things. You can't be fighting, you know, going there to fight. You've got to be going in and outcraft people.
But again, that comes with also having that knowledge in your corner, and that comes from a trainer. Do you think that it's now time for him to get a trainer?
I think it is time for him to get a trainer, but what trainer would want to train him? Because he comes with a package, doesn't he? He comes with, like, his dad, and then, you know, his tag-alongs and all the stuff, and then he thinks he knows what he should be doing. At the end of the day, if you've got a trainer, your trainer should be telling you what to do. You don't tell your trainer what you're doing today. And I think, you know, he wants a trainer what's just gonna be a yes man. And I don't think any trainer in the world is gonna do that.
I think that's sort of why with your relationship with Dom Ingle, it just sort of works, right? Like between all of you guys, you just seem to really have so much respect for him.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, one thing about Dominic, he's always on it. You know, he don't take no days off. You know,
He may be strict, but he's such a fun personality to be around. He seems like he can really have that banter with all of you guys.
he does. You know, with Dominic, there's a time and place, and when it's to train, you train. You're not here to, we're not here to, to laugh and joke. We're here to train. We're here to put in this work and get the session out of the way. And, afterwards you can have a little laugh and joke. But, I think it's getting that balance, and I think Dom's got the perfect balance. And some days, you're a bit tired, or you think you should be doing more rounds than you need to. Dominic will, the second I walk into the gym, because he's known me that long, he'll know if I'm tired or whatever, and he'll tell me, say I was supposed to be doing 10 rounds, or you're doing 4 rounds today. And I'll be like, why? He said, I'm doing 10 rounds. Like, no, I said you're doing 4 rounds. Or I'll walk in and I'm supposed to be doing 10 rounds, and he's saying you're doing 6. And he'll change it, and he'll just know. And I think that's what a good trainer does. But, you need to be that trainer for a while. And I don't think Eubanks, I don't think he'll find anyone. Who would want to train Eubanks?
The World Boxing Super Series is doing something, I think, great for the sport of boxing. What do you think of the whole setup?
I love it. The best. Everybody has to fight each other, and the best person will come out on top. And I personally believe they should have more tournaments like this. But in boxing, there's a lot of politics, and
politics go out the door in this tournament.
I know, but I'm just saying, in terms, this format could work in certain divisions, but in some divisions I don't think it'll ever work because of the politics. Fighters tied up with certain promoters or certain management. They don't want to take risks. If they could do a heavyweight one, would you do it? Do you think AJ would enter if there was a heavyweight, tournament? No, he wouldn't, because AJ can do what he wants. So I think fighters who can't get fights, it's a good platform. But if you're a household name like AJ or Mayweather or Cotto or Alvarez, you don't really need to enter these competitions because they'll do what they want to do and when they want to do.
And would you do it?
Yeah, I would love to. I'm not in that category with them. They're household names. They're superstars. I think fighters who were still trying to get there, that's the perfect platform.
Well, it was always nice catching up with you, being at the Galahad. I enjoy it. Today seems like today seems more like a mellow day. Yesterday, everybody was sort of bouncing off the walls.
It was, there was too many people in the house yesterday. It was crazy. It was like a madhouse yesterday. But today, just finished sparring. Did 8 rounds today. Finished. Come back home. Had a lie down. I'm knackered. I'm tired. After this, I'm gonna go upstairs, have a sleep. Just relaxing now. Got just under a week and got another session later on, under a week and a half. And it's fight day.
Fight night's near.
Can't wait.
Well, thank you so much. I know you're tired. I always appreciate it. You guys opening up your doors for behind the gloves.
You're always coming down here, and giving us these good interviews.
You like your new nickname, Kiss Galahad.
I love it.
All right, it's nice talking with you. Bye, Fight fans. Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. If you haven't already subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do so by clicking this icon right here, or else